everyone, Lorraine here. Today's episode is a conversation between myself and another English teacher called Patrick. I met him online a few weeks ago, geeking out about all things English, and we decided to have a chat and record it for you all. Patrick is originally from Toronto in Canada, and now he lives in sunny Monterrey in Mexico. And his specialisation is teaching the American accent. Patrick has actually written a few guest blogs for us, which you can find on the Intrepid English website. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. Hi Patrick, how are you today?
Hi Lorraine, I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for joining me today, and I'm joining you as well. So this is a bit of a joint effort today, isn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, we'll both be sharing this for all of our listeners to hear.
Exactly. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit to my listeners and tell them who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So my name's Pat. I'm from Toronto, from Canada. I'm an accent coach. I teach the American accent. Now, you may be saying, why is he teaching the American accent? He's from Toronto. Well, it's a pretty similar accent, actually. In Canada, we have our vowels stretched out a little bit differently, but for the most part, they're indistinguishable, especially in the major cities. I live in Mexico. I teach the American accent online. Many people ask me if I have Mexican students, and in the past, I have students around here in Mexico. It's just, honestly, I find working online to be so much easier than running around in the hot sun all day in leather shoes trying to work with students here. It's quite a job living around here. Yeah, that's me. That's the short version. That's what I'm doing these days. But how about you, Lorraine, if you'd like to introduce yourself to my listeners? Tell me about yourself a little.
Yeah, sure. So I have an English language school, also online. We've been running for 7.5 years now. It's called Intrepid English. And we have lots of lovely teachers working for us. We've got some Brits, we've got a couple of Americans, and group is growing steadily. We've now even got a few non-native English-speaking teachers and one South African as well. So we've got a nice big mixed bag. And yeah, I've been teaching English online for 7.5 years, teaching English in total for 10. During that time, it's changed a lot, and now we've got the pandemic going on. So yeah, there's been a huge evolution in the time that I've known the online English language industry. So yeah, it's really nice to meet other English language teachers online. I always learn something from other people who are doing this. And yeah, I was really keen to get chatting with you because I don't know any other uniquely accent coaches, so they only teach accents. So I thought it would be great to have you on my podcast and also for me to be on yours, because it's something that my students are quite interested in, and I'd like to hear from an expert, essentially.
Actually, I'm happy to give some tips today that are useful for all accents, like whether you're in the States or if you're in Britain or even, Scotland or Australia or wherever. There are some sounds, of course, that are consistent through all of English. I'll give a few tips on some exercises for glottal T. I'll give some tips on that today because honestly, it's like I said, it's used in all these different accents, and a lot of non-native speakers don't even know about it. They kind of, I'll notice a lot of people overly stress their T's. Like you're not listening for sounds that aren't there. You know what I mean? And this is kind of a T sound that isn't really a T sound. So anyway, I'll get into that shortly. I wanted to mention one thing, though, actually. About, you mentioned as well, you've got non-native teachers, and I think it's so good. Native teachers are great at teaching more advanced level stuff. What I find is when you're at, levels of, suppose you want to study IELTS or the TOEFL test or any of that kind of stuff, who better to learn it from than somebody who's written it themselves? possibly more than once, or who's studied for it specifically. Native English teachers, we don't study these things in the same way that other people do. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I think that's such a cool thing that you've got such a diverse group working with you there.
This is such a great topic to start us off with, Patrick, because it's something that has really been in both the Intrepid English Academy discussion this week. It's also been in a discussion that I had whilst recording another podcast with our newest teacher. And when I shared the podcast on LinkedIn, that started a whole conversation on there as well. So this is obviously a very hot topic. Of course, there are a range of different opinions about this topic, but I definitely agree with your point to a certain extent here. Non-native English-speaking teachers and native English-speaking teachers, there are so many of them that you can't overgeneralize both ways. But non-native English-speaking teachers who are qualified and experienced really have, really are better than native English-speaking teachers in a lot of ways, especially for lower-level English students. That's not overgeneralizing. We've got a lot of native English-speaking teachers who really haven't learned their skills very well. They haven't learned their craft to a good degree. They kind of just cruise by and rely on the fact that they're a native English teacher. And honestly, that's not great. So I'm saying, I would say my opinion is that you need to take each teacher on their own value. You know, you need to take a look at their skills, their qualifications, their personality, their passion, also their pronunciation as well. That's important. But there has unfortunately been, in recent years, a lot of schools have been advertising for English teachers, and they say for native English teachers only. And that is a real shame. And some countries have actually made that illegal now. But it is a real shame because they deprive the school, they deprive the students, and they deprive the non-native English teachers themselves of really valuable experiences, you know. I don't think that you can say, oh, a native English speaker can teach because that's their native language. That's not right in most cases. Some of the best English teachers I've ever met have been non-native English-speaking teachers and also native English-speaking teachers who have learned the grammar from scratch in order to teach it. So, yeah, it's a complicated issue, but I would say that hopefully things are moving in the right direction where schools are allowing non-native English speakers to apply for these jobs. And, yeah, they're taken on their unique individual values rather than on just their native language.
And, well, not to mention you've got the people such as yourself leading the way in that. Maybe you could have a school full of skilled English teachers who are native speakers and who studied English thoroughly and all these things. But having non-native speakers as teachers, they bring a new perspective to it. They'll teach things like teaching. In my opinion, anyway, I've come to find teaching is so much about how well you can communicate the message.
In all of the things that we do at Intrepid English, we always like to communicate as a team together. And we chat all the time online with each other so that we can share stories, funny stories, useful things, even mistakes that we've made and that we've learned from. And it's really so important to have a variety of different perspectives because it makes us all better. It makes us all see things from maybe a different point of view than we're used to. So, yeah, I think that diversity in all its forms is wonderful and we should definitely celebrate it.
Helps, just piece things together much better. But I'm curious for you, how did you get into teaching in the first place? Like, what piqued your interest in this type of work?